The 12-1 Eagles are coming to town this Sunday at Soldier Field. What should we look out for in this game? Watch this video to find out. What's going on, guys? I'm back with another Chicago Bears pregame prediction video, which I'll be doing before every single Bears game this year. So if you guys want my thoughts on what's going to happen before each Bears game, definitely be sure to subscribe to my channel. I'm sorry I didn't have any videos out for you guys the last 2 weeks because first of all, it was the Bears bye week last week, so not much stuff going on. But second of all, I got my wisdom teeth removed about a week ago, okay? The lower ones on both sides, and it hurt a lot, okay? For a week, I could barely even talk, barely could eat. It's still hurting a little bit right now. It's kind of feeling weird to talk right now because I have 2 holes in my mouth, so still kind of hurts, but I'm gonna get this video out for you guys because it's been a while since my last video, and obviously I promise to give you guys these preview videos for every single game, even if these games don't really matter that much anymore, because obviously the Bears are eliminated from playoff contention. We have no chance to make the playoffs. We're probably headed towards a top 3, top 5 draft pick at the very worst. So in some cases, it might actually be better for the Bears to lose the remaining games, but obviously the coaching staff is not going to think that. The players are not going to think that because they're going to try to win these games as hard as they may be for this current Bears team. But because these games don't mean that much anymore, these preview videos will be relatively short compared to my other preview videos. They're not going to be 15 to 20 minutes in length like they usually are because I don't think enough people are watching them anymore. I'm only getting like, 3,000, 2,000 views max right now because understandably, a lot of people don't care about this current season anymore. But I will be creating other content regarding the NFL draft, regarding the NFL offseason, free agency, because that's what people care about right now in the coming month. Okay, so look out for those videos that I'll be supplementing with these current videos relatively soon. But talking about this game, guys, let me talk about this matchup now. And we have the 12-1 Eagles coming to town. Okay, probably the best team in the NFL right now is coming to Soldier Field to take on our 3-win squad, which is obviously gonna be a tall task, guys, for the Chicago Bears to even be competitive in this game, because top to bottom, the Eagles have a much better roster than the Chicago Bears currently do. And the only thing I want to see in this game is Justin Fields continue to get better and continue to develop as a quarterback, because obviously this is the toughest defense he's faced the entire year. Okay, they have a fearsome pass rush. They have a really good secondary too. And against some of the other top defenses, Fields has done relatively well. Like against the Cowboys, he had a pretty good performance. Against the Niners in week 1, pretty decent. Against the Patriots, he had a really good performance. So he's done really good against the other top defenses, but the Eagles defense could be a different animal just because of how good they are in rushing the passer and in forcing turnovers too. Okay, so we'll see how Fields does. And, getting these reps against a defense this good is important as well, guys, because obviously you can't simulate this in practice. Like going up against the Bears defense in practice, that's not going to prepare you for real life situations against top defenses, but these games do. Okay, getting reps in this type of situation, even though it's not a good situation the Bears have put him into, it's going to be valuable for the future, okay, to learn from these experiences and, grow from them, even if Fields does not perform necessarily that well because it's a really good team he's going up against. But talking about this Eagles team, guys, let me talk about their offense. First of all, give you guys some stats about how their offense has been doing. And it's obviously a really talented, really explosive offense. So they rank number 1 in points scored per game, number 3 in yards gained per game, number 14 passing offense, and number 2 rushing offense on the year. And Jalen Hurts has been taking the leap that a lot of Bears fans want Justin Fields to take next year, because all across the board, Hurts has improved dramatically as a passer and as a total football player too, okay, because he's definitely an MVP candidate right now. His numbers are some of the best in the NFL. He's probably going to finish second or maybe first in MVP voting. Patrick Mahomes is probably the only close one to him right now. And, he's been really good as a passer of the football. Obviously, if you read his passing stats this year, let me pull them up, but he has 3,152 passing yards, 22 passing touchdowns, only 3 interceptions, okay, so not turning the ball over whatsoever. Pretty high completion percentage too of 68%, really high quarterback rating, 108.4. I mean, this guy is taking a massive jump in I think it's year 3 now for him, and that's partly because they surrounded him with a really good supporting cast. Okay, they got A.J. Brown as a number 1. They traded for him in the offseason. They got Devontae Smith, obviously drafted him last year. They have Dallas Goedert, the tight end, who might be coming back for this game. He was on IR the last month or so, but he might be coming back reportedly for this game. They have probably the best offensive line, best pass blocking offensive line for sure in the NFL. So this is the Eagles have shown us how you build around a young quarterback and how you scheme around his skill set, because obviously, Jalen Hurts coming into the NFL, he was not considered to be the most refined passer, but the the Eagles took advantage of his legs, obviously in year 1, year 2, and then in year 3, they've really helped him develop as a passer. And that's what, Bears fans hope that Justin Fields can eventually do with the Chicago Bears too, if the Bears do surround him with the proper pieces. So Hurts is going to be a problem to defend against. He also has a bunch of rushing yards too. I mean, 686 rushing yards, 10 rushing touchdowns. A really talented runner of the football, just like Justin Fields. Obviously, Fields is better as a runner, I would say, but Hurts has been really good in both the, through the air and through the ground. So it's kind of like pick your poison with this guy and with how good he's playing. And obviously, like I talked about, the supporting cast is one of the best in the NFL. So I really don't understand how the Bears defense is going to, possibly stop this Eagles offense, because they've been rolling the entire year. Talking about the Eagles defense then, they rank number 7 in points allowed per game, number 2 in yards allowed per game, number 1 passing defense, number 18 running defense, and they got stars across every level on this defense, guys. Like in the secondary, they got Darius Slay, CJ Gardner-Johnson, TJ Edwards, Hassan Reddick at linebacker. They have a fearsome front four as well. I mean, they got Javon Hargrave, Brandon Graham, Josh Sweat, Fletcher Cox. I mean, the list goes on and on. They have Ndamukong Suh, who they acquired as well. They have a really nice rotation of pass rushers up front, and that's why they're number 1 in the NFL in both sacks and turnovers forced. Okay, they have 49 sacks on the year and 23 turnovers forced on the year as well. So going up against a Bears offensive line that has not been good in pass protection for the majority of the year, and also, Bears offense that has turned the ball over sometimes a little bit too much, that could be a problematic matchup for the Chicago Bears. Look at this Eagles defense really is going to get after it and really try to pressure Justin Fields into making mistakes like he has sometimes done this year. Okay, so really, really tough matchup, guys, for the Bears offense, and it's going to be, struggle, obviously, to get anything going against a defense this good. But in fairness, I did say this against the Patriots and against the Cowboys, too, and we still scored almost 40 against the Pats, almost 30 against the Cowboys. So with Justin Fields, with how good he's playing, anything is possible, but it's going to be really, really tough, guys. Like, definitely the toughest matchup the Bears have had the entire year. Talking about the Bears now, though, let's briefly talk about their offense. And they rank number 19 in points scored per game, number 22 in yards game per game, number 32 passing offense, number 1 rushing offense. And the biggest, question I have here is how much is Justin Fields going to rely on his running ability in this game? Because as we saw in the last game, he didn't really run as much as he usually does. Okay, he only had, I believe, 6 carries, and he still had 70 rushing yards, which is obviously a lot, but most of those yards came on one big time run, okay, of like, I think 50 plus yards. So if you put that run aside, Fields didn't run as much as he usually does, maybe because of the shoulder injury, maybe because he's trying to be more of a passer now because the Bears want him to be more of a passer. But whatever the case is, okay, if that's going to be how it's going to be playing in this game against the Eagles, I'm not sure how well it's going to work, simply because I don't know if I trust the Bears pass blocking up front to be consistent against a defense this strong. Okay, so I do think that Justin Fields is going to have to run with the football a little bit more than he did the last game, just simply to get out of sacks and to move the ball down the field. Now, hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully we are able to generate some sort of consistent passing attack from the pocket, but it's not very likely given the state of the Bears' current offensive line and given how good the Eagles' pass rushers actually are. So I do see Justin Fields running more in this game than he did the last game, simply to just get out of sacks, to move the ball down the field. Otherwise, it's going to be really difficult on him. So again, hopefully I'm wrong. I would love to see Fields torch the Eagles defense through the air, but that's probably not going to be how the Bears move the ball in this one. Okay, it's also going to be a heavy dose of the running game too, because Khalil Herbert, I'm not sure if he's officially back for this game, but he might be back for this game, and I believe he's the Bears' best runner this year. Like, no disrespect to Monty, but from a pure efficiency standpoint, Herbert has been a better runner of the football. Monty has been better in terms of pass protection, in terms of being a better receiver, but on the ground, Herbert has been a more, faster and efficient runner. So getting him back would be big for the Bears offense as a whole. And, as you guys saw, the Eagles, weakness, I would say, on the defense is somewhat their run defense. So maybe the Bears can exploit that to their advantage. But talking about the Bears defense lastly, they ranked number 29 in points allowed per game, number 19 in yards allowed per game, number 11 passing defense, number 27 running defense. And the only thing I could talk about here is that Jaquan Brisker and Kyler Gordon are likely going to be back for this game, which could be a big boost to the Bears secondary. Obviously it's not going to probably make a huge difference, because if we can't generate any sort of pass rush up front like we have been unable to the entire year, it's not going to matter really who's back there. But, getting these guys back and seeing them, hopefully develop and get better in terms of their coverage responsibilities, in terms of, learning how to play in this specific scheme, that's going to be important for the future, and to see if they can be long-term high-impact players for the Chicago Bears. Okay, I think that Jaquan Brisker has already proven that to some extent. He's already, viewed to be one of the best young safeties in the NFL. Now, Kyler Gordon has left a lot to be desired, but he is also playing probably the toughest position on the Bears defense right now. And without a pass rush in front of him, it's a really hard spot to be in, okay? So again, I'm not expecting too much out of these guys just because the Bears pass rush is that bad, but hopefully they do continue to get better in this game and, show something to, really help us have hope for the future of this Bears defense. But with all that being said, I'm not going to do my, 3 keys to Bears victory because, again, these games don't really matter. It doesn't matter if we actually win these games. But talking about my score prediction, guys, I have the Chicago Bears going to Soldier Field. And unfortunately, losing to the Eagles by a score of 42-28. Yes, I do have to predict a blowout and a pretty big one because, guys, I just simply do not see how is the Bears defense going to get a single stop against this Eagles offense. Okay, the Eagles offense scored 48 last weekend against the Giants defense, and the Giants defense definitely is better than the Bears defense. Okay, the Bears probably have a bottom 3 defense in the league going up against the best offense in the NFL. That is not a good matchup, okay? The Eagles' offensive line is going to push our defensive line around, and our defensive line already is not good to begin with. So I just cannot see the Bears' defense getting a single stop. Maybe we get lucky here and there to get, a lucky stop, but it's not going to be very frequent. And the Bears' offense, I do have a scoring 28, which I think would be a pretty successful game for the Bears to score this much against a defense that good, and that's only because of Justin Fields. Justin Fields being really athletic. Like, no defense has been able to fully contain Fields on the ground, so I think that Justin Fields, even against a defense this good, he can have maybe 80-90 rushing yards, torch them through the ground on certain occasions and maybe break a big one through somewhere to get a big touchdown like he's done multiple times this year. And I think that we can somehow still score 28 just because of, we're going to be playing from behind the entire game too, probably. So we are going to be passing a little bit more. Maybe the Eagles defense does, go into, a softer type of coverage because they're already playing from ahead. So we could score 28, but our defense is not going to be good enough to stop this Eagles offense. So we're still probably going to get blown out. As for my offense MVP, I already talked about it kind of, but Justin Fields is my only choice for MVP the rest of the year because there's nobody else on this offense as talented, I would say, as Justin Fields. Besides for guys like, Tevin Jenkins doing really good on the offensive line, Khalil Herbert doing really good as well. But I think that Fields is by far the star on this offense, and that's going to continue in this game against the Eagles. As for my defense MVP, I don't think our defense is going to do that good in this game. But if I had to pick one, Jaquan Brisker, I think he maybe, gets a pick. It's been a while since we've gotten a pick on this defense. So hopefully Jaquan Brisker gets his hands on one and gets his second pick of the year. But that's basically all I have to say about this game. Again, leave your comments down below. What do you guys think is going to happen in this game? And also, what do you guys want to see from my channel in the coming month, right? Because I'm going to be making videos on other topics as well, about the draft, about free agency, about, talking about guys I think might leave the team. So leave your, recommendations on what you want me to talk about down below as well. And I'll be back with my post-game reaction on Sunday night. Hopefully the Bears are still relatively competitive and prove me wrong, because I would still like to see the Bears fight even if we don't have a chance to make the playoffs anymore, because that shows that the team would still be believing in Coach Eberflus's message and, playing maybe above their talent level would suggest we have a pretty good coaching staff too, but we'll see what they actually do. It's probably not going to be a pretty game, but regardless, we are diehard Bears fans. We're still going to watch this team. We're still going to support this team, and hopefully better days are coming. But as always, guys, bear down.